Just looks like daylight coming in over there now. Well, that's not bad. Now it looks like warm daylight. If you tune in early, this is what you tune in for. Now it's so dark. I don't mind the dark. I had grown accustomed to the light being on, and then when you took the light away, it was noticeable how dark it is in here. I had questions for Green Gorilla that I'm not sure I'm gonna get to ask now. I wanted to know what online drama videos meant. Like, are they drama skits? Are they like videos about drama that happens online? Are they like TV drama shows? I still don't know. Oh, drama between, so it's online like beef. Okay. I get that. I also find that interesting. Like when I don't know about if you know about this one, but this really popular TikTok creator called Call Me Chris and this other very popular TikTok creator called the Vegan Teacher were like fighting for like a year. James is saving his voice. He's not doing so hot right now. So he is definitely trying to reserve his energy and vocal cords or pain tolerance for when we actually start recording. He's just also doing a lot of deep breathing. Snow White made me sick too. Continuing sick. I don't want to say too much, but that should fill you in from my thoughtful Thursday. Didn't appreciate that. In a lot of ways. Why has Kyle seen it but not you? Did he watch it with your child? I'll have to go over there to drink that one when stream starts. Morbid curiosity. No, I like Mornid. Alright, we got one more minute and then we will get started recording. Oh, so you've seen it, Green Gorilla, because you were stuck on a plane? Dang. That's how I ended up watching the new Trolls movie. And I liked the other Trolls movies. It is like watching a train crash. That's how I felt about. Is Amazon Cinderella better? We'll get into it. All right, it is time. All right, it is time. The chat's going crazy. All right, 3, 2, 1.
As you might recall, many moons ago, we made a tier list of the first 100 movies that we watched. Was it 100 movies?
99.
99. First 99 movies that we watched for the show. You may also recall that previous to that episode, we had watched and reviewed the film variant of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. You may yet also recall
Oh my god.
that when doing the tier list, we created a category for cats called cats.
It was below F, just in case there's any confusion there.
I will go ahead and spoil the next tier list by out the gate mentioning that Disney's 2025 Snow White will fit directly into the cats tier. So there's that.
In other news, this is CityWavesCinema. I'm America. That's James, and we watched the 2025, to be clear, Snow White, the live action version that Disney just came out with, and it was so horribly received that they put on pause all future live action remakes except for the sequel to Lilo and Stitch, which they are already in production for. Yay. So yeah, that's the that's my contribution to the start.
A few notes out the gate. This movie cost somewhere around $240 to $270 million to make. And it raked in at the box office 205. Technically, this does make it a box office bomb. It did not make back its budget. It did not make profit. It is in the red, somewhere between 35 to $65 million. Pretty rough shape for Disney. Supposedly it was well received when it reached digital, but I don't believe that. This movie was surrounded by controversy like out the gate. Because first of all, did we need to do it? No. Did we do it anyway? Yes.
Even though many people told us to stop.
Us being Disney, we didn't make this movie and we have no affiliation with it.
No.
Other than skewering it online for content.
I don't speak for the brand or the company.
We didn't even work there. So let's address a few of these controversies because they're not going to have impact on the rating of the movie or how the movie went actually beyond one.
I think I was like,
there's one, and it's Peter Dinklage's fault.
I think I also have like one or two notes that revolve the controversy, but I tried to stay away from most of it just because I wanted to reflect on the movie and not all the knowledge I had leading up to it.
Well, let's dig into a couple things before we actually get into the plot. First of all, Peter Dinklage went on a podcast and said a bunch of stuff about how the original Snow White mistreated dwarves. It's a cartoon from the 30s, guy. The 1930s. We're almost 100 years past. In my lifetime, with ease, we will hit 100 years after the original Snow White, okay? In the 30s, we did shit different. Like, people didn't have rights, okay? Like, we did. Peter, chill out. Chill out. Well, it didn't help because Disney took Peter Dinklage's commentary to heart and reskinned the dwarves as magical creatures and proceeded to animate the fuck out of them instead of hire people to just do the roles.
Well, originally they were going to hire people to do the roles and be the magical creatures, but then that caused even more controversy.
Because they called them magical creatures.
Yeah, because now we're not respecting the history, and it just became a PR issue from the other side of the little people community that was not siding with Peter Dinklage at the time. So then that's how we ended up here with what I can only describe as
a horrible nightmare monstrosity.
That's not what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say like the. Never mind. Nope, it's gone.
All right.
I'll take that.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's good.
So that was a whole thing, and it result. You remember that time when they made the Sonic movie, but someone teased it and we saw the original Sonic design and it was horrendous and people bullied the studio so much that they made the design much better and that turned out great and they've made 3 movies now and they have all done like fucking gangbusters at the box office and that was awesome for them.
And they're positively reviewed on our channel?
That didn't happen here.
No.
That didn't happen here. Another controversy, really the other big one was doing quote colorblind casting and just casting your casting net out into the sea and fishing in oh fuck
the best actor for the part regardless of
Rachel
appearance.
Rachel Ziegler. Now we've done another movie that Rachel Ziegler did on this channel, and that was Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and she did a phenomenal job. Good movie. She did a great job in that movie. All was well.
I've almost finished the book.
In this movie, you really don't. I don't think Rachel Ziegler was given very much to work with on this script, and it is, in my opinion, a complete waste of her vocal talent to give her those songs that range from mediocre to bad. So I don't have a problem casting Rachel Ziegler in the role of Snow White, even though she's Latin descent. Whatever. But like, give her something to work with, please, please, please. And the something that they gave her to work with was Gal Gadot. Now, Gal Gadot, you might know as Wonder Woman, or being an IDF soldier. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on with that, and we're not even gonna fucking get into it.
We're never gonna get monetized.
I didn't say anything about it. But Gal Gadot is not known for being a like stellar actress. Okay? She's got the action movie shit down. She is very attractive. But like the acting, not top 5 in her skill set. So that is in fact on full display here as she is in a role where she has to act instead of do superhero shit. And that was just a mistake, in my opinion. Oops. Oopsie. Shouldn't have did that. Oh no. Well, here we are. Now, all those controversial topics aside, let's talk about how absolutely dog-ass fucking miserable this movie is. Yes?
I want to go on my tangent so that I don't have to go on my tangent later because it's going to be across the movie.
Go now.
My biggest issue with this movie, you've heard James's a lot. My biggest issue with this movie is that Disney has people that portray these characters on a daily basis in their parks. So, as far as live action, they've already done it. You can go up and hug that Snow White. That's more live action than this movie. And yet, we somehow are not able to maintain her look or appearance in this movie. That skin tone aside, the dress is wrong, the hair, Snow White has curls. They're pinned up curls and tied with a ribbon. Not a Lord Farquaad bop. Like, it's just not what it is. And
they sampled a lot of Lord Farquaad for this movie. The hair, the chin.
Oh my, and it looks like Duloc, just a little bit.
Should have just been in.
So that's my rant. I have a couple notes about it, so instead of just doing it several times, they have a blueprint. Not just the original movie, they have people that are in person, live action, IRL people that dress up as these characters, and they're able to maintain that perfect Disney standard until we want to put it on screen, apparently. There we go. I'm done. We can actually talk about the plot now.
Hold on. Vamp for a second. I need to look something up.
Vamp? I just vamped.
Vamp harder.
Fuck, okay.
I need to learn a fact.
My other issue with this movie, since I'm apparently vamping, is the CGI to me, especially
Jesus.
the dwarfs, looks worse than better as far as CGI goes. It looks like we are still watching Jim Carrey's Christmas Carol and not
Yeah.
in the era where we're making realistic looking lions in Lion King. Like it just, I think they tried to really lean into the cartoony, and it made
But
it
only for part of it.
it made like uncanny valley animals. Like that's how it felt looking at them. Like I was like, they're cute, but also they make me uncomfy. That deer's eyes were really, really big. But yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay, here's what I went to look up.
Okay.
This Snow White is 109 minutes long. Over an hour. Not too bad. The original, 83 minutes long. So we've extended this time out by about 30 minutes, close to.
It's all those extra lyrics in the songs.
The first Snow White, back in 1937, was made for $1.5 million. Big boku bucks in 1937. Would you like to know how much it grossed at the box office in 1937?
Is it like in 1937 dollars, or are we adjusted for inflation?
It is not adjusted for inflation,
Okay,
as
so
far as I can tell.
in 1937 dollars, the budget was $1 million,
1.5.
1.5, 2 million
$418 million.
in 1932 dollars,
$1937.
$37.
That's akin to being like a $2 billion movie right now.
Everything.
Can you believe that shit?
Everything about Walt Disney makes a lot more sense. Not the company, the person. Everything about him makes so much more sense.
They made one of the earliest animated films for $1.5 million, and
it was
made
the first.
made like 1,000% return. Absurd box office hit. And I would wager that's only American box office. That doesn't count China. That doesn't count other countries. I would bet. I'm not saying that's a fact, but I would wager.
The way that everything just like exploded for him makes so much
Immediately
more
after
sense.
Snow White, yeah.
Like it. I mean, I knew it was the first animated film at all, and I just that's insane. The chance that he had to take.
Adjusted for inflation, it is one of the top 10 performers at the North American box office and is still the highest grossing animated film with an adjusted gross of $2,297 million.
Holy shit. And then there's this one.
Its international earnings for the box office weekend were more than $8 million.
Holy shit.
It absolutely obliterated the world.
We didn't need to redo it.
And this one sucks ass.
Guys, you won. Disney, you won. You don't need to do it again. You did it.
You did it. Okay. Let's get into what this movie believes is a story. So, we begin with Snow White's origin story, which is narrated by what we will later learn is Dobie.
Yeah, it sounds like someone trying to do a Josh Gad impression for most of the movie.
It does sound like they got a B-tier actor to try their very best Josh Gad impression. Which wouldn't be half bad, except for that it's not Josh Gad. So Nameless Queen and Nameless King will have a baby in a carriage during a snowstorm. This baby will be called Snow White because she was born in a snowstorm.
Get it?
Sure. Fine. That's fine. I don't care. Whatever.
Really?
People do stupid shit like that all the time in real life.
Okay.
Do you know how many Kinsleys there are with 47 consonants in their name in the South? Because that's just the way the South works. Naming conventions have gone out the window in the last 20 years. I don't give a shit if they name their daughter Snow White because she was born during a snowstorm. Who cares?
Okay.
Now, years down the road, they have raised little Snow White in privilege, but with a acceptable sense of fairness and equality, I guess.
She's out amongst the villagers.
This will come into play later. Then Mama gets sick, like always. Then Mama dies. Now the queen's dead. Guess what that means? We gotta find a new one. What's so funny?
The way you delivered that really reminded me of the Olaf Presents. Anna
Anna
died.
dead. Elsa's dead. Everyone's sad.
Yeah.
So, the king remarries this mystery woman. They outright call her a foreigner. Who
An enchanting woman.
An enchanting woman whose beauty supposedly gives her magic powers. This is Gal Gadot. This will be the evil queen / stepmother. She then tricks the king into going to war with the Southern Kingdom, where he will die, allegedly. And she basically steals the throne and subjugates all the citizens in the region, conscripts almost all the adults into her military, and confiscates all of the wealth. This is like despot dictator 101. And she kills it. Let's be real. Evil stepmother checks all the boxes. She does all the bad guy shit. Terrific. Now, Snow White gets forced to be a maid,
and her hair chopped off,
and they cut her hair, which she will leave cut, a la Lord Farquaad,
forever.
For some reason. Now, this is a world where if they had let Rachel Ziegler just have her hair down like normal, everyone would have lost their fucking minds, because they would have been like, that's not Snow White's hair. Just like we all lost our minds right now when we were like, that's not Snow White's hair. Which means everyone all the time, no matter what, is an asshole.
Also, it would be less of a competition for the queen to be considered super pretty when you are standing next to Rachel. So
Rachel Ziegler is very pretty.
They needed to dampen it.
They had to handicap Rachel Ziegler so that Gal Gadot could be the fairest in the land, which is funny because they're both quite beautiful. So just like the olden times, the queen asks her magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, and the mirror says it's her, until Snow White sings a song and wakes herself out of her maid trance to become a person again. And then bing bang boom, now she's the fairest of them all.
I thought it was,
which is very confusing.
I thought it was because she, like, I think what the movie was trying to say was was because she met Jonathan. Is that his name?
Jonathan, yes.
Jonathan, and like she suddenly discovered herself again and that she wanted to help her people, and so then she had like the self-confidence and now she's the fairest in the land or something to that nature. No? Am I reaching too far? Am I AP litting this a little too hard?
I think it's dangerous to AP lit this. This is a poorly constructed Frankenstein's monster of a story.
So are most of the things I read in AP lit.
Touché. Now, Snow White does meet Jonathan in the cellar. Now, let's talk briefly about Jonathan. We have
Prince Pants.
We have taken the story and cut out a bunch of the classic parts and replaced them with shiny chrome plastic. In that, while there is definitely reason... Okay, hang on. This is part of the fucking series of controversies, right? In the lead up to the movie, Ziegler and Godot made a big deal during media tours about how this isn't your grandmother's Snow White. She doesn't need no man. Fucking apparently she does, okay? Because she does in the movie. And that's the movie you were in that you filmed before you gave these fucking stupid ass interviews, okay? Just stop fucking talking.
Maybe they blocked it out.
You know what? It could be trauma. It could be. Now, let's
I would.
here's the fucking thing, right? In the original Snow White, 1937, once again, people didn't have like rights and stuff, and women were subjugated a lot more than they are today. But let's take into consideration what the prince was for in the first movie. Nothing.
He had to kiss Snow White and wake her up.
One thing. He was there in the forest for no reason. They danced, became smitten.
Mm-mm.
Oh, did he stalk her for real?
You're thinking of Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, fuck, I am thinking of Sleeping Beauty.
So in the original Snow White,
oh no, I've mixed my ancient Disney movies.
You're not that far off. In the original Snow White, she's singing at her well, the wish I'm wishing, and the prince comes up and joins in on her song.
Creepy,
and, like,
don't do that. Weird.
She was scared of him at first. Like, she was like...
Oh, that's where that gif of her going, oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Very much so.
Oh!
And so then, after she passes away, and they have this little moment after she passes away,
the prince kisses a corpse.
The prince just is there out of nowhere all of a sudden. See, you weren't wrong. And yeah, just kisses her, and then they ride off into the clouds together.
Okay, so in the original, not a whole lot going on there in terms of like plot or story for that relationship, right?
No.
But what's happened is they've taken that and isolated it down and put so many layers of like fuck the patriarchy on top of it to where it's more than the stupid that it was. And now it's this grand tale of subjugation and of like stalking this poor woman and all this shit. When in the original work, they weren't thinking with all of their brains. It was the 30s after all. Like, it not that deep. Problematic? Sure. Not that deep. So now in this movie, they've taken to the soapbox of we're not going to be like that movie. Snow White don't need no man. Except for actually, yes, she does. And moreover, needs this one more than she needed the last one, actually. Which is funny and stupid.
This one takes an arrow for her. That's something more.
Yeah, but like, and she's just an asshole the whole time. The whole time she's such a dick. Oh my god. Okay. Jonathan.
Prince pants.
Number one thing, he is wearing Prince pants when we meet him. Number two thing, he is not a prince.
No, he's
and
trying really hard to be Robin Hood.
He's not doing anything creepy or bad, and he doesn't attempt to seduce or stalk her in any way, and she falls in love with him on accident on purpose. He's just sort of around, and it happens during one song later in the movie, and we'll get there. But so Jonathan is broken into the palace, okay? And he is stealing potatoes because the queen's got a lot and the villagers don't, and so he needs potatoes to live. So Snow White is like, hey, don't. And he's like, fucking still gonna. And she's like, what is this? Because, you know, she's like had her brain dulled by years and years of repressed everything. And she's like, well, the princess surely would give you guys food. And he's like, maybe she should do that then instead of fucking around. And
Literally.
she's like, that's me. Shit.
I think like
This movie's so fucking stupid, dude.
I think his exact line though that I really enjoyed was, "Oh shoot, I just had it."
Maybe the princess should stop thinking and start doing.
Yeah, that was it. Maybe the princess should stop thinking and start doing, and I was just like, "Oh,
damn." Like,
all right."
So he, like, they hear a guard raise alarm that there's an intruder, so he fucks off. Cut to, she goes to do dinner with the evil queen after completing her chores, which, first of all, if you're the evil queen and you've subjugated your stepdaughter to becoming a maid, in what world do you then let her sit with you to eat?
She wasn't. She came up there to ask her to feed the villagers.
Right, but she had a table place setting.
They set it for her after she was like started walking towards the queen. Like the queen was like, she's like, "I need to talk to you about something," and then she motioned for people to bring her like a seat and stuff.
But the queen also goes, "Have you finished all your chores?"
Yes.
Which would indicate to me like you can't be here until you're done. So the way I read the scene was like, when you're done, you get to be royalty for a hot second.
If your scene is this unclear in a children's movie,
You didn't write it good.
Yeah.
By the way, all the scenes are this way.
I didn't think we were going to be arguing over the same movie that we watched at the same time.
Dude, every single scene in this movie is as confusing as it could possibly be.
For no reason.
For no reason. This is written by a writer who is exclusively a professor of theater. Like song and dance on Broadway theater.
Hang on.
You have a note, you have a joke about it.
I do. I made sure to write it down and everything.
Yes, I remember you did.
Oh, the writer of this film is a pretentious academic theater snob, and it shows.
It does. So, Snow White and the Queen have this whole sequence where Snow White, for the first time in her life, I assume, begins to protest the evil queen's treatment of the civilian populace.
Also, the evil queen in this movie, you don't have to watch it. All you have to think about is she says every single line like she's a billionaire CEO in America. And that's pretty much her entire dialogue.
I can think of like 3 billionaire CEOs who have more charisma than this queen.
True, but...
And one of them is Elon Musk.
Ugh.
I know.
Are you sure?
He has more charisma. I didn't say it was good.
I'd rather listen to her do her little clink clink with her rings than listen to Elon talk.
You know what? Same. So, this is like, I guess, the first time that Snow White, first of all, she has been trapped in the castle, so she wouldn't really know how fucked up everything is outside of the castle.
In a way, she has been genuinely sheltered. Like...
Inadvertently, yeah.
Like, she's not a princess that's been, like, sheltered for princess reasons. She's just not been...
She's not been allowed out to see how things are for, I don't know, 15 years. So, well, no, isn't she like 16?
I think
so. It's been like 8 years.
Yeah, I think they made her 16 in this one because the original Snow White was
13,
12.
Ooh,
yeah,
horrifying. Okay, so she's arguing, and then I guess the guards captured Jonathan. They bring him up, reveal he was stealing potatoes, and there's just all this back and forth and bullshit, and eventually
it's revealed to Jonathan that Snow White is the princess, or the girl that he met is Snow White and is the princess, rather.
Oh, I thought you were going to continue.
No, you were saying something.
So all this back and forth happens, and it's all just meaningless fucking jargon. And then Snow White convinces the queen to do a different punishment. Like the original punishment was to throw him in the dungeon for stealing. All right. Snow White tries to appeal to the good in her, which doesn't exist because she's the evil queen, remember? And this will result in the first of several unfathomable plot holes in the movie.
James was really harping on this
I talked about this for like 15 minutes while we watched the movie.
And throughout the movie, he brings it up several other times. I don't know if he will tonight, but
oh, we're gonna.
It was very much America counting how many cans were in the
Willy's Wonderland.
were in Willy's Wonderland. That level of obsession. So carry on, continue. Tell them about.
So the Queen says, strip him of his jacket and boots and chain him to the gates. Let him freeze. To death, I think? Or just let him freeze. Something like that. They usher him away. And then Snow White has a little bit more argument with the evil queen. And then she goes off and has another song. And at the end of the song, no, we won't even get to the end of the song yet. Throughout the song, she meanders through the castle, through some courtyards, some exteriors, until she gets to the gate. Now, let's think back to what the evil queen said. Take his jacket and his boots, chain him to the gate, let him freeze. What does that tell you, the audience? I'll tell you what it told me, the audience. It is presently sometime in the winter to allow for a prisoner to be chained to the gate and die of exposure in the cold, in the winter, when it would be cold, in the winter, when it's cold. And the elements of the outside in the winter are cold, in case you didn't know. Now, I know we're in the South. There's a lot of people in the South. They don't really know what winter's like, not in the South. But when you're not in the South, the winter, guess what? It's motherfucking cold outside. Throughout Snow White's song, as she goes through her courtyards and her exteriors in the castle, it's motherfucking summer. Or spring, because there's a shitload of foliage that's just blooming and flowers and all type of shit, okay?
No one's wearing any cold weather
There
clothing.
ain't no jackets. There's not layers. People
There's
be
no
out there in their tights and shit.
snow.
There's no snow. There's no clouds. It's not even like sad looking outside, which it should be because she's ruined. The evil queen has ruined everything. It should look sad outside. And it doesn't even look fucking sad outside. End of her song. She gets to the gate where homeboy is tied amateurly by his wrists to the gate so that any motherfucker could come along and untie his ass. Which, guess what? Snow White's that motherfucker. She unties him, and dude runs off after she gives him a half a loaf of bread, runs off into the town, observed by several people, barefoot, no jacket, just his tunic and his pants, his prince pants, if you will. Not nary a puddle on the ground. It's not even like, oh, there was a chilly rain. It's just fucking nice out, okay? How are you going to... If I'm the editor of this movie, that's like the first and last line of defense for this type of dumb shit, is you see it in your edit bay and you go, wait, it's not winter or cold. Why is this the line read we're going with? Is there a different line read? And you shuffle through all your footage and go, oh, fuck, they didn't do another line read. This is what we got. Fuck. And that's how you end up with this shit. So there's one of your first of several glaring plot holes in the movie, where it's like, it's so clear that the script was written for the fucking stage. Like, this isn't, it's all, like, it's so bad and lazy. It didn't need to be lazy. You could be bad on purpose or bad, but you tried. This is lazy. This is amateurish. You're really gonna do a fucking detail-specific line about the condition of the world and how someone would act in the condition of the world, and then you're gonna show that person in the world, and it's gonna be nothing like what you said? Unless we're doing an ethereal fucking David Bowie-ass dream sequence movie from the 1980s when everything was greenlit. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted in film. This is stupid. Everything that is presented to you is presented as the reality that is happening. Even the queen's fucking magic that she does 3 times is turning a rose from a red rose into ash. That's all she can do that's magic. The real magic is in the dwarves' palms. And we'll get there. These are gonna be fucking long episodes. This shit is as bad, if not worse, than fucking Cats. Okay, at least the Cats story was like cohesive.
Yeah, at least it stayed in its lane. Like it knew what it was.
It knew what it was, and everything they say either happens or is alluded to happening, and then it ends in a way that made me have to forgive the movie of all its sins. This movie didn't even give me that satisfaction.
Brennan would be proud of you, James.
They killed that motherfucking cat at the end of Cats, and that is so fucking funny. That's so fucking funny to me. Bastards. Okay. So. Now, Snow White's the fairest of them all. Okay? Queen, once again, asks the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's fairest of them all? Mirror goes, "You're so hot. But this bitch Snow White, she's the fairest." Now, let me be clear. You're so hot. I mean, everyone knows. This is akin to what the mirror actually says. Everyone knows you're so hot. You are so hot. Snow White's the fairest of them all. You're so hot. Please don't shatter me.
I did write that the queen just screams, "Validate me, validate me." Like...
Everything the evil queen does is because of ego. Vanity ego. So the next sequence is basically as it was. She summons the huntsman, tells the huntsman to take Snow White out to the orchard so she can pick apples. There, the huntsman is instructed to kill Snow White and bring her heart back in a box. Standard Grimm's fairy tale fare, okay? Bog standard, not a lot of complaints about it. So the huntsman takes Snow White out to the apple orchard. This is the first time Snow White has left the castle in, I don't know, 8 years.
Which should have been her first red flag.
Yes.
Like, your evil stepmother suddenly just, like, go pick some fucking apples? Like,
So, the huntsman takes her out there. She offers him an apple. He refuses it and says it's getting late. And then they get to the edge of where the orchard meets the scariest make-believe forest in history.
So scary that it has an entirely different time of day than the world outside it.
And also, there's 2 levels to it. There's the ground, and then there's the other ground. And the movie takes place on both as if they're the same level. Now, the audio listeners can't see me gesture with my hands as to where it is, but imagine if you fell down, I don't know, a 5-story building from one floor of forest to the other floor of forest. That's where we're headed. Now,
yeah.
the huntsman is gonna kill her and then decides, no, I'm not going to do that. And he acts his ass off, and Rachel Ziegler phones it in.
Makes some weird faces.
There's some strange faces from both of them, but one of them, it's valid, and the other one, it's not. So she runs off into the forest where all the trees are mean. Now, in a cartoon, you can do a lot with making tree limbs look scary without moving or being threatening, and that's sort of how it went in the original cartoon. And you see that play out in a ton of Disney stuff. Winnie the Pooh, I think of a lot. Basically any forest that's meant to look intimidating. Jungle Book. You can make the trees look frightening without making them come to life. In this forest, the trees are fucking assholes, and they try to grip and rip at Snow White.
Lord of the Rings meets freaking Wizard of Oz trees.
Yes. All the limbs are moving like people's limbs. It's just fucking crazy. Now, welcome to the second plot hole of the movie.
Oh God.
Here we go, baby. Here we
Sorry.
go.
This
You
is gonna
gotta-
be the second time I've heard this rant today.
Tonight. I bitched about this to my dad earlier on the phone.
I'm just gonna...
You just clock out, girl. I got this. Take your 15-minute break. You're allotted.
My union.
You're paid 15-minute break. Snow White is harassed by the trees, potentially sexually. It's not clear. And then falls through a hole in the ground. This is where she will go from the first floor of the forest to the second floor of the forest.
Like we in Undertale.
But at all times, it will be sky above her, which is confusing, but it is not the plot hole that I am going to talk about. She falls. Somehow also falls down a waterfall into a pond and or lake that has an offshoot river and or creek that she will swim into and then crawl out of. This is very important. She will crawl out of the water onto dry land. I'm going to say it again so that you really understand what happens in the scene. She's in the water, then she crawls out of the water, and she's on dry land. The camera is behind her. She's ragged. She's looking. Everything's dark and scary. And she sees glowing eyes in front of her in what appears to be the mouth of a cave. We cut to her face. She's frightened. We cut back. The glowing eyes start moving towards her. And it becomes Bambi. Now, when it becomes Bambi, the cave isn't a cave any longer. It brightens up and becomes woodland forest. We cut back to look at Snow White's face, and behind her is woodland forest. Now let's go back in time. Snow White was where? In the water. Good. And what did she do? She crawled up on dry land. Excellent. Where did the water go? It's gone. Like the leaves in the fall. Gone.
Which it could also be fall.
It's unclear. He didn't perish at the gate, though, so it must have been temperate. The water? Fucking gone. A whole rushing river, waterfall, pond, fucking gone. Replaced by the blue screen soundstage with a mirror image of woodland forest. For what purposes? To piss me off, personally. Someone had it out for me specifically. What? She's still fucking wet. She's drenched, her bob in tatters. Pasted to her skin like wet hair does to skin. Why is she wet? America, why is she wet?
I don't know. I have something.
You do know it's because she came out of the fucking river! Where did the river go?
With the winter.
The winter wasn't even here to begin with!
Exactly.
No! We're not in a dream! Where is she?
Okay, well, in the original Snow White...
We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto! We're in motherfucking Oz! Where's Elphaba?
In the original Snow White...
I don't give a mother rockin' rat's ass about the original Snow White! Where's the river?
If you would let me finish... I gotta take you there, it's a journey. So in the original Snow White, this sequence played a lot better because what they were trying to do was make it appear that Snow White was misinterpreting things as scary because she was running away from the huntsman. So like the trees looked scarier and the eyes in the forest looked scarier, and then she trips and falls and starts crying, and it's made clear that none of those things were really there. The trees are just trees, and the scary eyes were nice animals. However, that was an animated cartoon, and that made a lot of sense. In this one, it played like this was actually happening, and there wasn't any because I'm afraid the woods are scarier than they actually are. It was just chaos, and it didn't make a lot of sense. Like I said, the woods are in a different time space than the rest of the world because it's bright as hell outside when she's talking to the huntsman, and suddenly it's pitch black. Like, it doesn't track. It's like they tried to copy paste from ChatGPT without reading it. Like, that's what it felt like. That's my rant. As to where your water goes, because that just doesn't make any sense whether it's a dream or not because she's wet, I got nothing.
I would be satisfied if they tried to lean maybe even harder into the pretending things are scary. And we went from like perhaps rushing rapids to like a babbling brook, right? That would play like the original film. But to disappear a whole chunk of geography is fucking insane. Like, I still can't wrap my head around how that made it to Final Cut. Like, she crawls out of the river, bedraggled and wet, but doesn't leave the bank of the river, really. And then after a few cuts, it's just gone, ne'er to be seen again. Like, how did you spent $240 million
Which then became $270 million.
just to have glaring mistakes? Like, this, it's not like when some dipshit left a fucking Starbucks cup in the frame of Game of Thrones and they then went back and they were like, well, let me just erase that out of there. Oops. No, this is like disappearing Joffrey mid scene. Like, surprise, he's there and now he's gone. Ah. Like,
Solid reference.
it's so. I've harped on it for like 7, 8 minutes now. There's a reason the movie's bad, and it's not because it like shits on the lineage of the first movie, although it does. That's not the reason the movie's bad. The movie's bad because they made a bad movie.
Oh, yeah.
They wrote a bad movie. They got a talented director to maybe work, and they hired 2 actors who act. They hired 1 actor who acts. Rachel Ziegler.
Yeah.
And that's it. There are 2 A-list names in this movie, and they are Gal Gadot and Rachel Ziegler. No one else you've ever heard of. Which wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily if the movie was good, or the script was good, or the story made sense, or anything was worthwhile. But it isn't, and therefore it can't be. Now, the woodland creatures break into the home of the dwarves.
Yeah, even if the animals do it for you, that's still breaking and entering for Snow White. Like, you. Just because the animals tell you it's okay doesn't mean you should actually go and sleep in someone's bed.
If you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of Snow White's character, which there isn't a lot of, she spends a great deal of time talking about fairness, justice, being good, doing good things. But the movie is still trying to track with the old movie, in which Snow White doesn't do anything besides like freak out. So, like, for all this hullabaloo about doing good and being good and all that, she does just straight up break into the dwarves' home and goes to sleep immediately. Like, if you're going to have this righteous arc, maybe complain a little bit about how the woodland creatures are trying to get you to do some crimes. Like,
Crimes.
I didn't even think about that when we were watching the movie. I didn't think about that till right now. That like she has this supposed character arc of being this like force for good,
Mm-hmm.
and the first thing she does upon gaining freedom from the castle is straight up a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So
And there's nothing said about it. Like, she never says...
she doesn't say fucking boo. Like, it's almost like a silent movie from the time she meets the woodland creatures. They go to the door's house. She goes inside, goes, hello? No one answers, and walks upstairs, sees 3 tiny beds, lays across them, passes out.
And she won't even, like, say anything afterwards. Like, I don't...
Nope. Nothing will be spoken about how she did breaking and entering.
Yeah.
So then we're going to skip to our very own monstrosities.
Each
Everything
one...
from here on out is Peter Dinklage's fault.
Yeah.
Not that he cares, but it is his fault.
I think if he cared, there were people...
He could have been in this movie.
There were people who were more important than us who have spoken on it. And those are the people who should be talking about it.
I'm not going to hash out the diversity or whatever about the casting in this movie. What I am going to hash out is why the Jesus Christ do they look like that? Why? You mentioned Jim Carrey's Christmas Carol, where all the animated people look kind of rubbery.
Yeah.
These look like sparkly that.
Yeah.
The animation on these dwarves would have gone so hard in like 2015. That's a decade ago. 10 years ago, this animation would have been fire. We're past that now. And the dwarves look heinous. They straight up look heinous. So we get their hi-ho song, and they go to work, and they're in the mines. Now, these dwarves, and it's been probably 20 years since I saw the original Snow White. These dwarves have magic powers. Okay? I'm gonna say that again, because the original dwarves, they had grit and brute strength.
I have a feeling that this came from the time when they were magical creatures briefly before we went back to dwarves.
Right, we should have written that shit out.
I agree, but I have a feeling that's where it came from. Was so the second rewrite of this movie.
These dwarves have a magical power that makes their hands glow, and when they touch the rocks, little traces, glowing blue lines emanate from their hands through the rocks to where the gems are in the mine. So they basically have a guaranteed route to wherever the gems are. Now, just like in the original, every gem they mine is pre-cut, like from a jeweler. These aren't the rough-hewn diamonds and shit that you would find in an actual mine.
No, because kids don't understand that.
Right. And of course, it's a kids movie, so just the gems are cut, whatever. It's fine. But the fucking Hi-Ho, that's the first original movie song, I think, that makes an appearance in this movie, and they changed like 50% of the lyrics.
Yeah, okay.
They add a bunch of new shit, and they change some shit, and make it worse in every way.
What I didn't need from Hi-Ho is a really cringy introduction verse for every single dwarf to tell you why they're named the way they're named and how everybody knows that's why they're named the way they are named.
This is how you know it was written by a musical theater person. Because what happens in a stage play? You learn your things about the plot via the songs.
And about the characters.
Yes.
There's a whole song telling you about Alexander Hamilton.
Half the stuff that happens in a musical happens in the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Snow White, the original movie, wasn't a musical, it was a movie with songs in it.
Yes.
This is a musical, and so they apply the format that musicals use, which is these songs will help tell the story. Here's the problem. You didn't need to, and it made it worse. In the original movie, you get introduced to the dwarves in a time immune classic way of show don't tell. All of the dwarves have names specific to the way they are, and you see that because of the way they are. All of these dwarves are introduced like they're wearing a "Hi, my name is" sticker, only it sings at you like a candygram for some fucking reason. It's so stupid. We're gonna end this episode here with meeting the dwarves, and the rest of the movie's gonna fucking fly by. Pinky promise. So we meet the dwarves in the mines with a bad song, a bad rendition of Hi Ho. That's that. Okay? We're gonna have more problems with this later. I think we've done the two big major plot holes though. Unless there's a third that I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole ending sequence is just god awful. But
No, when the witch comes.
oh yeah, that's a big fucking problem. Yeah, okay. So there's definitely more to get to next episode.
Yeah. I will say this just to end on a somewhat positive note. I aspire to enjoy my everyday work the way the dwarves aspire, or the way the dwarves like love theirs, because they are just freaking stoked to be doing what they do.
Even Grumpy.
Yeah.
He loves him some mining.
So,
especially when it's that fucking easy.
May we all aspire to live our lives like the dwarves in Snow White. How you holding up, champ?
Bad.
Okay. Why don't you go take a break?
Just you fucking wait till we get to the next one. This shit sucks ass, man. This movie's so bad.
Go take a break. I'll do the vote.
If you motherfuckers, you know what? Pick another fucking bad movie. Cause
we had fun.
We had a lot of fun.
Oh shit.
It's a Schadenfreude type of fun though.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna shimmy. Hang on. Let me save this first, so I don't forget. My watch. All right. Fuck. What did we watch? Oh, Snow White. Snow White. 2025. Part 1. Save. Okay. Voting time. All right, guys. It honestly, the songs, a lot of the original songs are actually like killer bops. I had one on my Spotify before we watched this movie. So, you know, it would be great, and I have a note about this later. And I'm sure James is going to talk about it, but it would be great if it was a decom. Like, if this was a Disney Channel original movie, it'd be right up there with the best of them, but it's not. And it pretends to be that it's not, and it's just, ugh. Okay, what am I looking at here? All right, Puss in Boots movie. Let's see here. We'll do this one for James. Just kind of being random about it tonight. Throwing in some old ones, some new ones. All right. There we go. All right. We will be back. Okay. So, fun story about this movie and my history with it. I hate this movie with every fiber of my being. My mom made me watch it once because she thought it was funny, and this movie made me need to go to anger management. Therefore, I thought it would be really fun to make James watch it because I have like trauma about how angry this movie made me the first time I watched it. Now, I haven't watched it since then, so maybe knowing what I know about the movie now, I'll enjoy it a little bit more. I'll think it's funny, I'll laugh, it'll be a great time. I'll appreciate it more than I did the first time. But I've never watched it again because it made me so physically angry inside. I was so mad at my mom for making me watch this fucking movie. And she's just over there laughing the whole time. Bless her soul. I've Okay, I'm done now. I know, he might love it. He might think it's hilarious. But the main reason I wanted him to watch it was because I've never hated a movie more than I've hated this movie. And I love Adam Sandler. It's not like, oh, I just hate Adam Sandler. No. This movie makes me want to drown things in rivers.
Anger Management. That's a movie. I may have even heard of it.
It has Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye. Eric is going to go look for the dog. There's some big name people in this movie. Woody Harrelson's in it. John Turturro's in it. Kevin Nealon. Holy shit, Rudy Giuliani appears as Rudy Giuliani. That's funny. There's a ton of people in this movie.
Okay. Shall we?
It's pretty highly rated.
Apparently, it's a great movie and people love it. That's what I was told last time, too. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. Why? Okay. You ready? Let's get you wrapped up so that you can stop talking.
Get down.
You ready? Are you ready? How about now? You ready? You ready now?
Yeah.
Okay. 3.
Vibration's still going. It's really loud. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Do you like shitting on legacy projects?
I wasn't prepared for this question at the beginning of this episode.
Are you prepared for the beginning of any episodes?
Yes.
That's a lie. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't lie to the people.
Sometimes I come in with the tangents and the rants and the things up front at the beginning.
Like when?
If you give me a second, I'll think of something.
Oh my god. Okay. Listen. Listen up. Listen up. Not you, them.
Oh.
This is CityWavesCinema. That's James. I'm America.
I hate you so much.
We watched 2025's Snow White. And I have lasting trauma eternally because of it.
In case that wasn't clear from the previous episode.
If you're here, I hope you've listened to the first one because an all-timer of rants.
Most people tune in to just the second episode for that reason. So
Right,
we've
which is
been
why
told.
I have to tell you up top, go back and listen to the first episode because once again, an all-timer in rants. The content is immaculate. Now, where did we leave off? Ah, yes, the horrifying dwarves in the mine. Now, the workday ends. The dwarves go home. Only this time, It's different.
Not at first.
Someone sat in my chair.
No.
Someone ate my porridge.
No.
Someone's sleeping in my motherfucking
No,
bed. No, that one's true.
Well, yes. But they just strip off their outer layers and then prepare to go to bed in the undergarments that they've been wearing all day long. Ew.
It's not like they're working hard in the mines.
They're just touching some stuff with their...
They use their magical dwarf powers.
And then ride the carts and sing.
Listen, if my workday consisted of touching the walls, using a cart, and then riding a roller coaster, it'd be a pretty fucking good workday, okay? I wouldn't be sweaty at all. Even if I had to walk all the way back home. Like, over a bridge. It'd be fine. So the dwarves come home.
And they...
Surprise, surprise, Snow White's still asleep in their bed.
But they don't know it's a person.
Dopey gets trapped in the room as the other dwarves seek to escape.
Because there's a creature in the bed because she's under the blankets.
Right. Dopey musters up the courage to lift the blanket, revealing Snow White's visage. Yes?
Carry on. Oh, wait.
Okay. She screams, because of course she would if she saw what I was seeing. Rachel Ziegler didn't, though, because that was not a real person in the room with her. It was a fucking tennis ball on a string.
She just gasped.
Yeah. So Dopey hides. She reveals herself to the room, starts to try and interact with Dopey, and then the rest of the dwarves burst in to defend their pal or pet.
Way delayed.
Very delayed. If it was a monster, it would have eaten Dopey by now. That's all I'm saying. And the rest of the sequence sort of just goes like you would expect. They want Snow White to leave.
At first.
And it starts to rain, and they're like, okay, one night.
Yeah. To be fair, like, they want her to leave for valid reasons, because there's bandits in the woods, and they don't want to, like, attract that attention, because the only people they know and have interacted with have been bandits. And they also, like, don't want her there because the evil queen could come there and cause them, like, hardship. And she doesn't want to be there either, because she doesn't want to get them in trouble. So there's a lot of,
Oh, fuck.
What?
I forgot something.
What did you forget?
Okay. Take a time out with me and walk in your mind palace with me back to episode 1. Actually, no, because it happens right now when she's meeting the dwarves.
Okay. Can
yes, I'm sorry. Finish your thought, and then
okay.
I'll do my bullshit.
Okay.
I just had forgotten that this happened.
My additional complaint onto my CGI rant that I went on in episode 1 is they tried really hard to make us feel like these dwarves are the cute, adorable dwarves that we've known for our entire lives, even the giant ones that are in Disney World. And it's just unsettling. They look like Garbage Pail Kids, and it's uncomfy at the best of times and really gross to look at the worst of times.
You know what another comparable is in animation? The Polar Express.
Yeah. But like shinier.
It looks like more detailed the Polar Express, which if you have seen the animated Polar Express, you know adding more detail to those characters would in fact make them worse.
Yeah. It's the boxy
vagueness. You need to remove from that. You need to remove from that to make it look good.
So that's my big complaint, is because I feel like Dopey could have been really cute, and there could have been some really cute stuff with him and the other dwarves like we had in the original. They were like really fun scenes.
I think Snow White's in love with him.
Like where they go to wash up for dinner and then they end up washing Grumpy and like putting flowers and bows in his beard and stuff. Like that could have been really fun to see with some CGI dwarves that you took some more time with. I know that you had to like redo the movie a bunch of times because people were getting angry, and it shows, but it's like watching Jumba. It's rough to look at. Yeah. I feel like the 2 CGI movies that we've gotten from Disney this year,
Lilo and Stitch and this one.
don't make me feel like we've come anywhere with the technology. And
At least not out of Disney Studios.
yeah, and I know that's not true because How to Train Your Dragon exists.
And it doesn't look like ass. Incredible.
Looks like Toothless is actually there and not some weird demon. Anyways, okay, carry on with whatever you were going to talk about.
Okay, so this is an important thing that will play into the plot of the movie later. While Snow White is meeting the dwarves, she iterates to them that her mother always told her it was important to learn a name.
Because she remembers all their names instantly, is why this comes up.
So it's very important to remember all their names. Now, up to this point, Jonathan, you remember, our bandit in Prince Pants, who did not perish at the gates during the winter, maybe? He has not said his name on screen. Snow White has not heard his name, but she has also not asked or conversed with him about what his name is in the few interactions they have had. She always said it was important to remember a name. This will be important later in the movie when they attempt to end it. Now, Snow White's first day with the dwarves involves a misunderstood food fight / brawl in which the dwarves get into a tussle with each other because of some oopsies.
And Dopey becomes the laughing stock of the whole group.
Now, they, in a stunning turn of the writing, not in a good way, I might add,
if that were possible.
They use the word dopey and dope like it's a slur.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
To refer to Dopey.
Yeah, they use it like they're making fun of him.
Like at the end of the end of the food fight, a bowl of like custard or whatever gets launched up in the air, and
I think it's oatmeal.
Plops on top of Dopey's head, who has to this point in the scene gone unscathed.
No, and not partaken in anything. He's just trying to chase the firefly.
Yeah, he's just hanging out, right? Bowl lands on his head. This stops the rambunctiousness, and all the 6 other dwarves point and laugh.
And start saying things like, oh, Dopey, so dopey, like.
And it, like, it reminded me a little too much of, like, classic bullying scenes where they make fun of the target's, like, disability or whatever. And it, like, I watched it and I was like, ooh, that sounds like they're using dope or dopey as a slur to, like, razz their friend. But they also had, like, charged into the room to fight a monster to protect their friend. So it, like,
very delayed.
The relationship between the rest of the dwarves and Dopey feels not good in a way that it didn't in the first movie. Whereas in the first movie, it was like, yeah, he's one of the guys. He's just silly. And in this movie, it's like, we take care of him because he can't. Yes?
I did want to say that there was one moment while Snow White was meeting the dwarves before this little breakfast scene that is noteworthy because it made James and I both laugh.
Oh, I wrote down that I laughed, but I didn't write down the joke. What was it?
It's because she goes, well, what did you think I was? Or something to that effect. And they all like murmur some answer, or they were like a person or blah, blah, blah. And Grumpy just goes, a ghost. Like, it's just so deadpan, like.
Oh, doesn't he go a ghost and someone else goes, no? I think that's what it was.
It was just something about that whole delivery and that whole moment was just really great because they were all like, no, we didn't think you were an evil monster. And he's just like,
you're a ghost.
Yeah.
No.
It's just that was a good laugh. An actual good moment. I think there were 2 in here that James and I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Now, after this rambunctiousness and brawl, and mocking Dopey for being there, Snow White is here to not virtue signal, but is here to enforce her ideas of ethics and equality on everyone else. Very United States of her.
Very her stepmother. Of
Nothing like spreading democracy with force. She then will coerce the dwarves into cleaning up after themselves, which, that's common sense. You ought to clean up your shit. But in the original movie, she gets the woodland creatures to help clean up the mess that the dwarves have made, because the dwarves go to work at the mines, where they work every day in the mines. And in this movie, she gets the dwarves to do it. And we here's another plot hole. It's minor. This is a minor one. We get the song "Whistle While You Work." Now, if you're an astute Snow White viewer, you would know that there is a portion of Hi Ho where the dwarves all whistle the tune of the song during the song. This occurs both in the animated cartoon and the animated real life movie. Part of the plot, I can't believe I'm saying that, part of the plot of Whistle While You Work in this movie is Snow White teaching the dwarves to whistle. Riddle me this, Batman. If you're shown on camera knowing full well how to whistle in key and on time, do you forget the next day when presented with Lord Farquaad?
It's attention-seeking behavior.
Batman, riddle me. Riddle me, Batman. Batman. I wish I was watching Batman instead of this movie, Batman.
I wish I was watching...
I would rather watch Joker Folie à Deux than this movie.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
That one's a surprise musical. They don't tell you that. I've heard.
Okay,
I've heard it's a surprise.
Okay, but when I started this one, you went, "Oh no, it's a musical." You didn't know for this movie either.
That's true. I thought it was maybe going to be a movie with songs in it, but no, it was a musical. Oops. This one's also a surprise musical. That's what I'm going to tell King Clayton when we see them. Like, hey, guess what? This was also a surprise musical. Go see it.
Anyways.
So they're dumb.
So whistling. And the song "Whistle While You Work," which also gets more verses added to it that we didn't need or ask for.
For no reason. Now, for the B plot. In the movie, that's almost exclusively like 5 B plots. Allegedly, Snow White's father is alive.
Bum, bum, bum.
Somewhere between the dwarves' cottage and the Southern Kingdom.
Where Hans lives.
In real life, Snow White's dad is dead.
Just like she thought he was.
Right.
They didn't really need to do this.
Nope.
She already thought he was dead.
But this Snow White will not be put down. This Snow White has chutzpah and a backbone and, dare I say it, moxie.
And in case it wasn't reiterated to you, she doesn't need a man, and except when she does.
Which is fucking all the time. So, Snow White is going to go find her dad. Somewhere. So, the dwarves go to work, and she sets foot out of the dwarves' cottage, immediately becomes lost. The queen has sent out her army to scour the woods upon learning of the huntsman's treachery. And so there are palace guards, for lack of a better term, scouring the woods. And who would happen to be there to ensure that Snow White does not get caught and murdered, but our favorite Prince Pants, Jonathan, who appears like magic from behind a stump to save Snow White from being murdered. Let's bear in mind, she don't need no man. Except for when she does. Which is all the time. Yes.
Let's talk about this man really quickly.
Do we gotta?
Yeah, briefly.
I don't wanna. I'll let you.
I have a complaint.
Do you now?
Yes, I do. So in the real Snow White, you might have heard us mention that she was 12 years old in the last one.
That, children, is a child.
Yes. And the prince was much older than her.
Potentially even an adult.
This decided to take that lesson right, like they decided to stick to lore in this moment because the actor who plays Jonathan is 10 years older than Rachel, which is just
It's not the worst age gap we've ever seen.
Between two actors, no, but it is enough for me to go, guys, come on. Like, and it shows. Like, he does not look.
He looks like he's 35 years old.
Yeah.
And you know why? It's because he's 35 years old.
Yeah.
Rachel Ziegler looks like she's somewhere between 20 and 25 years old. And you know why? It's because she's somewhere between 20 and 25 years old.
Yeah, it was just like, why? It was another moment where I looked at the movie and I went,
why'd you do that?
But why? Like, you had to have had options. There surely, and that's no hate to the actor. He does a fine job in a bad movie, but yeah, it was just one of those moments where it was another question towards the Disney execs of just like, why? Carry on.
So Snow White and Jonathan are then caught up to by Jonathan's troupe of actors turned bandits.
Are you gonna skip over?
What am I skipping over? The Princess Problem song?
Yeah.
I guess not.
We also
now is the
we
best...
also skipped over the Queen going back to the mirror and being all like,
oh, and finding out that Snow White is still alive.
And her whole song. But I did make a note that song was forgettable at best. So you know what? Proof.
On the list of Gal Gadot's talents, singing is about on par with my capability of singing. It exists, but it's not the best thing I'm good at.
Think Russell Crowe in Les Mis.
She could do it. I don't want her to, but she could. So, those, yeah, what, now we get a song ripped directly out of the sacrifice of 100 Disney Channel original movies. And it's called Princess Problems. In which Jonathan, since we talked about it in the first episode, and that she's innocent of the way that the world is, due to being effectively imprisoned in the castle, Jonathan kind of rakes her over the coals in a way that's not justified because she's too naive. Not willingly naive, very unwillingly naive. Because her whole thing was like, back when my parents were around, I was always out and about with the people. And now he's like, womp womp, everything sucks ass. You should know about it. And it sounds like you got first world problems, bitch. That's Princess Problems. And it's fucking hilarious. Did we ask for him to sing a song? No. Did we deserve him singing a song? Also, no. Should this song be in the movie? Once again, no. Because why?
But it's really funny.
It is quite funny.
James sent something, and I was talking about it with live chat briefly, but this gives off Disney Channel original movie vibes, and if it just had been a Disney Channel original movie,
it probably would have been a fucking banger.
Yeah, it probably was sold like all the merch. Like kids would be obsessed with it because it feels like I'm watching a wannabe Descendants movie, and I did watch one of those because the last one was that. But it
or the zombies movies.
Yeah, it feels like if you were in that demographic and you were on Disney Channel, like at this time.
If you're an awkward tween, this is fucking banger.
Yeah, this is great. It's not box office, like try to win an Oscar worthy Disney movie.
And also, he sounds like a Muppet.
He does. Like if you're looking down, taking notes on your phone like I do for this podcast, and you're not looking, it sounds like Ernie singing.
Jonathan, on occasion while he sings, sounds like Ernie, the Muppet from Sesame Street. Which is crazy, because I don't think he's trying to. Which is sad. Now,
hate to him. It just made me laugh a lot during the movie.
Let's talk about the most disrespectful thing that happens in this movie. Because now is the time when Jonathan's acting troupe turned bandits arrive.
Oh, I forgot that this is something that happens. I forgot that this was a thing that happened in my life.
Jonathan's acting troupe has 6 or 7 people in it, and a wide variety of people, including one individual who...
Please be very careful how you talk about this.
Well, it's not. I'm not talking about the governor of Texas. Chill. One individual in this acting troupe is a bona fide little person. A actual man with dwarfism is in this movie. Now there is another one, very famous, Martin Kleba. You may remember him from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But he voice acts for one of the dwarves. And this guy, whose name escapes me at the moment, is just in the movie. There. As himself. He's not animated. He's the master of the crossbow.
As he will
says
say
several
so
times.
many times. It's like his only line.
They wrote him 3 lines, and that's one of them. And he is in this movie. He's the only member of the acting troupe who has a voice line besides the guy who says thanks for having us at the end of the party at the dwarf's house. And that feels like a throwaway. I cannot express how far off my face my jaw fell when I saw him on screen in a movie with so much controversy around little people. I was shocked that this happened.
It's so...
It's not a problem that he was cast.
It's not a problem.
The problem is that there are 7 animated dwarves, and also he's in the movie.
And there are, like, the fact that they cast a little person in this movie and not as, like, a main cast member.
He's a throwaway guy from a group of people that weren't in the original movie.
Instead of
holy shit,
just making the fucking movie and letting Peter Dinklage be fucking mad. Like,
let him bitch. Let's cast Brad Williams and Martin Kleba and a couple other folks, and we'll be right in there, man. We can do it. We can do it live action.
You want
to spend $80 million less dollars on the budget? Or maybe spend $80 million more dollars that you didn't have to spend animating the dwarves on scenery?
And not being the new responsible person for my next sleep paralysis demon?
Or
like
hiring another person to write the screenplay? We could have done a lot, but instead, we end up with this awkward scenario. So, anyways.
Yeah, okay.
Boy, all my notes are like, wow, I just don't fucking care about what's happening. So they...
I will say before we leave this scene, when the troop is leaving and it's the other guy that has a line and he's like, thanks for having us, and he just has an arms full of food. That is me at every work catering event.
Well, you're way far ahead of where I'm at.
No, because that's where they...
Yeah, but we're not at the party yet because we have to get through Doc's joke that made us laugh. And it's not even a joke.
No, but we're... Okay, fine.
Well, because the soldiers show up.
Yeah.
And the bandits literally engage them in a fight so that Snow White can escape. And this is the part of the movie where you start to get real irritated with Snow White.
Mm.
You have a group of people, one of whom you've had 2 or 3 conversations with, who are all so committed to your dad that they are willing to get into a brawl with palace guards so you can make your escape and continue to breathe. And you have the fucking gray matter in your brain turns smooth as shit. To be like, I'm gonna fight with you.
With my 0 skill set.
I spent my last 8 years as a scullery maid. I will fight with you. Fuck off, child. Go continue to breathe so you can be a leader later, okay? Fucking, you don't need to get into this right now. She fucks off for like 50 yards. And then the woodland creatures show up and are like, come on, let's go. And they don't speak. And she goes, I'm going to help them. And so the woodland creatures are like, actually, we're going to do that. Thanks. And so the woodland creatures set up like a decoy Snow White. And right when the band is at the end of their capability of fighting, Snow White shouts from across the glen, are you looking for me? I'm over here. And she scurries off, steals a horse, escapes. And then the creatures fly the dummy Snow White into the sky. It falls down, and the soldiers are like, where'd she go? And that's basically how that goes.
Harumph, harumph.
Harumph, harumph. So they basically celebrate their win, pulling one over on the guards, but there's one lagging guard who spies a Snow White. And through what I can only describe as the Force, Jonathan will, in his transition to becoming a Jedi, discover that someone is aiming a crossbow maybe it's spider sense, actually, aiming a crossbow directly
Both
at Snow
work.
White. And he will leap to intercept the bolt, catching one in the fleshy part of his shoulder.
On the other side. It's away from his heart.
Over here.
He's never
Right
really
shoulder.
in any real danger.
Certainly. Well, he could bleed out, but not likely. So, catches the crossbow bolt right in his shoulder, goes down. Snow White's like, oh no. And the troops are like, he did that for you. And she's like, no, 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 no. And they're like, for you. And she's like, oh, fuck. Okay.
So I guess I'm in a relationship now? Like,
situationship at best.
That's her whole vibe. She's like,
I guess we're dating.
Like, what?
So Snow White gets the woodland creatures and the troop to take Prince Pants here to the dwarves' house, because where the fuck else does she doesn't know anywhere else to go.
Because she believes
She
that
believes that
Doc
Doc is a
is an
doctor.
actual doctor.
And he stands there and he's like, well, actually, it's more of a misnomer. I know about rocks. And they're like, but could you try? And he's like, I can try.
Literally.
So he takes Jonathan.
Unskilled medicine check right ahead.
D&D nerds. We're coming up to one of the genuine laugh out loud moments in this movie, of which there are like 2 or 3. They take Jonathan into the dwarves' house, where Doc will do surgery. A little while later, Doc comes out of the house and describes a situation as though he was
mining,
delving into a mine. And like he's delivering every line like so somber and sad. And then everyone's receiving this news and they rightly assume that like, oh, he's dead. He didn't make it. And then Jonathan stumbles out of the door frame and he's like, yeah, no, I'm good.
I would never do that again, but
I didn't enjoy that, but I'm good. And Doc was like, oh, I thought he was dead.
Literally.
He out loud just goes, oh, I thought I killed that motherfucker.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Dead ass thought that Jonathan was dead. Like,
we laughed so loud, I thought we were gonna wake up our kid. It didn't happen, but man, that shit was so fucking funny when it happened, and it made me almost forget that this movie is dog shit. So then we're gonna have a little party, and then we're gonna have the song where Snow White and Jonathan fall madly in love. In slow motion. In slow motion. The motion is slow.
It doesn't need
Horrible.
to be.
For what purpose?
Everything is awkward and bad. And I'm not lying, she just acts like literally like people say we're in a relationship, so I guess we're dating for like most of the song.
But don't forget, Snow White in this movie don't need no man. That said, now the evil queen does the evil queen shit, where she transforms herself into a hag, poisons an apple, and goes to find Snow White.
Somehow.
Is this pre or post? This is post Jonathan's second capture.
Yeah, because she takes the necklace.
Yes, after the party, the Snow White gives her custom necklace to Jonathan.
Because Jonathan and the bandits are gonna go find her father.
Right.
While she stays hidden.
It's the first time she's been convinced to do something in the whole movie. And it will be the only time she's convinced to do something.
And like, well, what's really gonna happen is they're gonna go like get supplies and stuff, and then they're gonna come get her in the morning, and she's gonna go with them.
Right, south. So the bandits fuck off, and almost immediately Jonathan is captured, steps on a net, is brought back to the evil queen.
How are you gonna get got like that? Like, you are a professional at this. Like,
firstly, no, he's not. He's an actor. Secondly, all his blood is not in his brain. You can guess where it is. That's right. It pooled underneath Doc's surgery table. So I'm smiling ear to ear about my joke. So Jonathan's taken to the evil queen. She sees Snow White's necklace on him, steals it, and then she will do her transformation into hag. Jonathan gets put in the dungeon. She poisons an apple, and America's gripe is that it's not green.
it doesn't look like the poison apple. It's again one of those movies, or one of those moments in these movies, these live action remakes, where it's like, it's so iconic. It exceeds the movie itself. It's been done in pop culture. Like, everybody knows what this
Poison apples are green.
fucking apple.
The poison is green anyway.
Yeah, what this fucking apple is supposed to look like. And then we simply don't do it. You had a fucking blueprint. Enchanted did it. They did the same fucking thing. And you just didn't. It's yeah. Carry on.
All right, so Gal Gadot sings her second solo song, and it's forgettable.
Yeah.
And now for our big fuck off plot hole. Evil Queen leaves as a hag with her apple. Jump cut, she's outside the dwarf's house.
In a previous scene where she was interrogating Jonathan, it was clear that she didn't know where the fuck Snow White was. And not once in that scene did she ever get that information. The only thing that she was given was she asked the guards to take them to where they caught Jonathan.
Which was somewhere in the woods.
And the guards have been all over those woods for
like 2 days?
Looking for this bitch and not finding that cabin. So
the evil queen just straight up guesses where the cottage is and goes through an insane amount of effort to get Snow White to take the apple and take a bite right there. An amount of effort that the original simply did not do.
it was really like the witch was like, Snow White was talking to the witch like she was a collections person at first. Like, she was like, the witch was like, "Are you Snow White?" And she's like,
Who's asking?
Who's asking? Like, it was very well done in the sense that, like, she didn't just immediately trust this person, but then
But the lengths that the queen went to.
Yeah.
She was like, "We all knew your father. You should go find him. Take this apple to sustain you on your journey."
For your father.
Yes. Take a bite.
For your
Go
father.
on, child. For your father. I could have been the fucking Wicked Witch.
The
of
evil
West.
queen.
Whatever.
You want to be Elphaba?
Where is Elphaba? I miss her. Bring her back. Fuck this.
She's in hiding from the propaganda in her own world. I don't know what to tell you.
You remember when we reviewed Wicked?
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much better than this dog shit ass movie. I'm not saying it's good. To be clear, I skewered Wicked good. It's just leagues above this, though. Like, a shocking amount of better. The CG, the animated stuff.
Yeah, can we talk about how the
Wicked
CG
came
in
out
Wicked
and
is
it's astounding
fantastic?
visually. This came out and it's so deeply unsettling.
Like within the same calendar year, we have CGI that looks like fucking Wicked, and then CGI that looks like Snow White.
Now, Snow White bites the apple, doesn't even swallow the bit that she has, and immediately goes down.
She will also proceed to chew and not spit out this same piece of apple for an entire song from the witch, monologuing at her.
It's like 10, 15 seconds.
It's an entire speech/song.
Did we watch the same movie?
Yes.
I'm starting to feel like maybe we did. Either way.
I was on the couch. I was next to you.
Either way. I made a note because, you know, the dwarves get pulled back from the mines by the animals, and they find Snow White, and they lay her to rest on a rock. I made a note about the soundtrack in that it sounds like whoever composed the songs, the soundtrack for this sequence, wanted to be Max Richter really, really bad, but isn't. Which only matters to me because I love Max Richter.
My rant about this whole thing and how we end up with Snow White dead in the woods is these dwarves don't care about this Snow White nearly as much as the old dwarves cared about their Snow White, because the old dwarves made an entire fucking glass fucking coffin with like a pillow and like lining for their Snow White, and these guys
dwarves put her on a rock.
Yeah, with some flowers.
They did a little like trellis thing over it, but
they just laid her on a rock in the middle, exposed to the elements.
Now Jonathan breaks out of prison and then appears
with brute force, with like pure.
Well, it was the huntsman's brute force combined with his brute force.
But yeah, just brute force. Like they will yada yada the shit out of them getting past that point.
If you effort really, really hard, you too can pull your chain out of a wall.
And then get past all the guards and out the castle where you were just kept.
To be fair, we didn't see any guards in that dungeon at all. Probably because they weren't called to set that day. But there are straight up no guards in this dungeon, as far as I can tell. Now, Jonathan, after breaking out, will just appear in the woods where Snow White is dead. And no one will stop him when he kisses the corpse.
And somehow after he kisses her, there's still 30 fucking minutes in this movie.
That is an upsetting amount of minutes. Snow White wakes up. And then the next note I have is where I gave up. And that is that Dobie speaks.
With a really stupid line.
As Snow White wants to rally her forces to go steal back the throne from the queen, Dobie speaks.
James said something that I want to bring attention to about like the guards not being called to set that day.
Neither was the screenwriter.
A lot of issues that you will find when watching this movie that you may not be able to place, like just a feeling, is that a lot of the time there's not a lot of actors in the movie. There are in the two big town scenes, but the rest of the time there's like a handful of them.
It feels very small.
Everything feels so small. The sets feel small.
And claustrophobic too.
The cast feels small. And the woods seem smaller than the woods in Into the Woods. Like it's just
Into the Woods are like the size of my house.
It feels very tiny for a 240, which then turned into $270 million budget. It feels like, again, like I'm watching a Disney Channel original movie, which if that were the case, it wouldn't even feel out of place. But it just feels so small. There's never like a ton of people on in the scene, and sometimes there's only like two that aren't CGI monstrosities. Um so yeah, that's my gripe about that as we move forward into
The end.
the worst ending to one of these live action remakes that I found yet. And be
That's
reminded,
pretty impressive.
we just watched the Lilo and Stitch movie. So
So Snow White and the dwarves and Jonathan and the actors will fuck off to do something, of which is not important.
yeah,
Because
because
I
I
don't
don't even
remember it.
remember what they do.
The dwarves will fuck off to invade the castle via the dungeon because Jonathan escaped through a route, and so he can get them back in through a route. So they go to do that.
And they're like used to being underground, and
I
so
guess.
it's like their terrain. Advantage on your rolls.
You're really in a D&D set right now.
I have on the bus.
On a bus?
On a bus in my head. Like it lives rent free right now.
So Snow White will walk to the village / town. A character that we saw when she was a little girl sees her, recognizes her, puts a flower crown on, and bing, bang, boom, we've got a revolution on our hands.
That's
Now,
it. No speech, nothing. She's just gonna
She's
slow
gonna
walk through the entire village.
She will walk all the way to the castle gate, effectively, which, by the way, if you tie someone up there, they won't perish in the cold. Especially if it's vague season number 1. So, Snow White rolls up, and let's take stock of where we're at. As of this moment in the movie, the Queen has issued what is effectively a kill on sight order about Snow White. She wants her dead, and anyone can do it. The villagers don't want that because they're like, please, anybody lead us that is not her. Snow White'll do. But the palace guards, the Queen's own military, even though they are conscripted from the village, like, you got to think, if I'm the guy who gets Snow White, dude, set for life.
They've
right?
also already attempted to kill her.
Yes.
Like multiple times.
So she just rocks up to the gates, and 2 soldiers roll out to where she is and hold her at halberd point and do not kill her, which is problem number 1. Problem number 2 will arise when they do capture her, and the evil queen comes out, produces a diamond dagger, holds her at dagger point, and does not kill Snow White.
And then gives Snow White the dagger.
And says, if you want the throne, take it. And Snow White doesn't kill the queen. For reasons.
I mean, she's supposed to be a good person. Good people don't murder.
Good people kill evil people.
Depends on who you ask.
Well, PG Disney says no. Evil people commit suicide via evil mirror. Magic mirror.
The new Disney says no. The old Disney was fine just throwing people to their
Disney
deaths.
said you can jump off a cliff and die. Now, Snow White will resolve this movie. And I told you about this in the first episode. Let's see if you remember. By remembering people's names.
And jobs.
She looks at the 4 closest guards, lists their names and what they did before the evil queen conscripted them. And that is enough to break what little loyalty they had to the queen immediately. Uh, and that's the end. So the queen turns to rush back into the castle, and there are the seven dwarves standing there in the castle grounds, just hanging out. And then she tries she whips back around and tries to kill Snow White, but our dear friend, master of the crossbow, fires from the parapet, hits the queen's hand on a glancing blow so the dagger misses. The queen throws a temper tantrum and rushes back into the castle, I guess around the dwarves.
Yeah, because the dwarves were standing there.
She goes to her magic mirror room and does her fucking ritual again and just goes, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And the mirror goes, you're so hot. I mean, you're so hot. But Snow White's the fairest of them all.
And she's going to be that way forever.
And so the evil queen throws a temper tantrum again, smashes the mirror, turns to stone/ash, gets sucked back into the void of the mirror, and the mirror reassembles itself.
All the while, Snow White is standing in the same room as glass shards float in the air for a really long time.
Just sort of going, gasp.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything, she doesn't do anything, she just stands there.
And then we find out that the narrator at the beginning was dopey all along, and
everyone wears white now.
Everyone wears white for a party. This movie's really fucking bad, dude. It's a bad movie. I've seen some people review it and be like, I mean, in a vacuum, is it that bad? And they go, not really. No, it is. There are glaring and obvious problems with this movie from beginning to end.
I mean, but we've even said, like, you know, if you put it on Disney Channel, it'd be great. Like, it'd be fine.
But that's because we've seen Disney Channel original movies that are better and worse than this is.
Facts.
But this isn't supposed to be that. This is supposed to be a blockbuster reimagining of the movie that blew up the company in the first place.
The most classic of Disney movies.
What's really funny to me is it's a full circle moment because Snow White, the original, did so well, performed so well that it created the Disney empire that we have today. And Disney's Snow White from 2025 did so poorly that they stopped a whole production
of two other
live action movies because they were like, clearly we've bungled this. How the mighty have fallen to get to where we are today. This movie has problems in its cast. It has problems in its direction. It has problems in its CG. It has monstrous problems in its writing. The dialogue's okay. There's 2 or 3 haha moments. The songs, all of them forgettable.
It has societal problems with all the controversy. Like, I feel like at some point with all the controversy, because we've been hearing about this movie for like the better half of post-COVID.
Since like 2022, this movie's been in production and it's been a fucking drama the whole time.
And at some point during that drama, if I was a Disney exec, I probably would have looked around the boardroom and went,
pulled the plug.
Maybe we shouldn't do this. Like, maybe we just shouldn't. Because clearly there's this issue, there's this issue, there's this issue, and also no one fucking asked for it. When was the last time you watched Snow White?
I was under 10 years old.
Like, when was the last time anyone gave a fuck? Now, I know there are some people where that's their favorite Disney princess, and like there's this classical thing with it, and yes, she is the first Disney princess. She deserves all the accolades, all the history of the movie, did really, really well. No one fucking wanted another one. No one asked, no one cared. There's been plenty of movies that we have asked for live action adaptations for. Like, we're fine if you want to do this, Disney, but don't do what you keep doing, which is taking phenomenal movies that have done phenomenally well for like decades and redo those. Do ones that were kind of like, you missed the mark, try again. You were really close, do it better. Those ones. Do those ones.
You remember the group that we had when we first met and we were doing the film class in college?
Yeah.
If you sat down that group of people, including the ones who weren't very good, and pitched the idea that, like, we need to redo Snow White, okay? But let's take some of the more problematic parts of it, like the age discrepancy and the fact that they don't know each other and that, you know, he kisses her while she's dead. And let's tell this story, but let's do it in a way where we eliminate the problematic parts of the original. We could have come up with a more palatable movie than this was.
Yeah.
I mean, not any one of us from that group works in the film industry.
You're the closest.
Mike's the closest.
You're the second closest.
I am the second closest. But like, Mike and I are adjacent to the film industry. We could have put together in our heyday a more well-structured, better written, funnier, potentially even musical, potentially, variant of this movie that is just better. Where this movie, I don't want to say this movie was like some torch for social justice, because they just tied their shoelaces together before the sprint. If all the press prior to the movie was about how Snow White don't need no man, well, she does. She just does. That's the story of Snow White. It's not that she needs a man, it's that she needs help. And help arrives in the first movie in the form of that stalker guy. In this movie, in the form of that guy. You want to make it a fucking social justice movie? Make her a lesbian.
Or make it so that the kiss doesn't wake her up. Like, go full Frozen.
Do something else. Do the Kathleen Kennedy. Put a chick in it and make her gay. Okay? Like, do the Star Wars problem. And anything else. You campaigned on this being a modern take on a classic, and it's just awful in all the ways that you wanted so badly to make it better. Even, let's say all your intentions were pure and not just for the money. Even if all your intentions were pure, you spent $240 to $270 million to fuck it up at every turn. Every one. The songs aren't good. The CG's bad. The acting is wooden at best. You got a writer who hasn't written fuck all. You got a director who got his start in music videos, and the best thing he's directed is 500 Days of Summer.
A way better movie.
So at least one person on your umbrella of movie has the capability to pull this off. And he just fucked it. Maybe his hands were tied, maybe they weren't. But there's only so much you can do with a script this shit. I said it so many times while we watched the movie. This movie wants to be Frozen really, really bad. This movie, all the songs in it sound sort of like the composer was listening to this Frozen soundtrack for inspiration, right? And you've got Rachel Ziegler, who is a vocal talent, quite good, but Frozen is Idina Menzel, Broadway royalty. Okay? Like, you're not going to get better than that. You can't, you just can't unless you bring in other Broadway royalty. Like, I cannot really fathom how we got here. Like, as much as it's fun to skewer the movie, like, the status of cinema and movies as a whole is really kind of in jeopardy. We're blowing hundreds of millions of dollars to put out this dog shit. In the same At the same time, Pixar's put out Elio. That's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't market it at all.
Mm-mm.
Some diehards are saying it's dog shit. The vast majority of reviews that I've seen for Elio say it's fucking incredible.
Yeah. I've heard only really good things.
You mean to tell me, in the year of our Lord 2025, Disney can co-put out Elio with Pixar, and it's a it's a banger, and they also put out Snow White, which is a total collapse of movies. How? How? How did we get here? Did we go too woke? I don't think so. Is the audience to blame? Maybe. Maybe. The real problem is worshiping the dollar.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that we're finding in this post-COVID Disney is they're not betting on the right horse. And we've seen that repeatedly, where they're throwing a lot of their marketing money towards a movie that does fucking awful in the reviews, in the box office, everywhere. Everybody hates it. And then they're not backing this movie that once it becomes available, because no one heard about it because you didn't market the shit out of it, and once it becomes available on streaming, everyone is glowing about. We saw it with Encanto. No one fucking heard a thing about Encanto until it hit Disney Plus, and then it was everywhere. It was all over TikTok. People were doing trends. It blew up.
And it's a good movie to boot.
And it's fantastic. The same thing happened with Luca. The same thing happened with Onward.
These are all Disney co-sponsored movies.
They're all really, really good movies that just didn't get the attention that they needed. They did not get the marketing, partially because during some of them we were still in lockdown, this or that, whatever. But in this new post-COVID Disney, it is a constant cycle that we're going through of, we're going to back this horse because we think it's going to do really, really well. And we're going to put all our marketing behind it. And this other one that's like an original story that no, there's no safety in that.
What are the odds they're asking ChatGPT where they should put their marketing money?
ChatGPT would tell them
probably the Pixar movies. I don't know.
I was like, no, that's
the ones that classically do well.
Either based on online reviews, because they would pull up all these things and they're like, based on what the community is saying, maybe don't. But yeah, that's my whole big thing.
We're in a world outside of Disney, just like in movies in general, where small studios are putting out the best shit. A24 is cranking out sleeper banger after banger. They are doing it constantly. Blumhouse, they're putting out some pretty good fucking horror movies anymore.
And they're branching out a little bit too, because they've made enough money from their horror movies. I think Five Nights at Freddy's really helped them out a little bit.
We're the problem that we're also running into is we're aging out the legendary directors.
Mm, yeah.
Like Francis Ford Coppola, he's out. A couple other guys are on their way out. James Cameron's gonna fucking kill himself making avatars. Uh, like some of the real titans of the golden age of Hollywood, the new golden age of Hollywood anyway, they're on their way out. But if you want to find like who did shit, I need to figure out what studio it is.
Can you tell me a movie?
Nosferatu.
Oh,
Robert Eggers. You want to see some dark cinema, some genuinely like thought provoking slash intimidating movies. Robert Eggers is the director of the day. He's only done a handful of movies. He self finances almost all of them. And he's got talent that just follows him. Willem Dafoe is running with him anymore. Robert Pattinson's one of his guys now. Um, like, you want to see some good ass fucking movies? He did The Witch. He did Nosferatu. That just came out. He did The Northman. That's one of my favorite movies that I've seen in recent history. Like, it's these little studios or movies that people are really taking to as art. Dune. I know you fucking hate it, but you don't like sci-fi. Dune as art, part one and part two, they are like generationally good movies. Generationally good movies. Terrific. The acting's good, the directing's good, the visuals are stunning. You don't even have to just like limit yourself to movies. Severance. Incredible. Yeah, Apple's doing it and they've got the biggest bank account in the world, but that's Ben Stiller's like love letter to movies and TV shows in general. It's so good. You've got like little test shit that gets picked up by studios like Has Been Hotel. Like shit that exists on we're about to see the Backrooms come out,
oh, so excited.
which that started as a fucking internet creepypasta and then became an internet series of videos. And the guy who made those videos, he's directing the movies. A24 is putting it out.
And Bloomhouse picked up Five Nights at Freddy's, like I mentioned earlier, and like
We're not in a space where all of the media is bad, but we are in a space where you have to be selective about what you are committing your dollars to. Because we're done with the time where you can go out and catch a movie and just watch whatever's playing and be satisfied. That's not real anymore.
And I think also Hollywood needs to remove the stick from its ass about trusting online creators. Like,
let the fucking guys who are making waves on YouTube and TikTok, maybe not TikTok, but YouTube and Vimeo or whatever, let them take some reins.
they are making content and making basically movies already online that are getting millions and millions and millions of views, and you're gonna fight them tooth and nail to not let them have a seat at the table. That's stupid. That's a dumb money move. That it just like financially doesn't make sense.
All that to be said, this movie sucked ass.
Yeah, not worth. Don't watch.
Or if you are going to watch it, find a drinking game for it.
Ooh.
I might write some rules out and then force my friends to watch it so we can all get hammered. Because I would watch this movie. I said at the end of this movie, I would rather watch Cats again. I would watch Snow White again if it was a drinking game. And that is the only reason I would watch Snow White again.
Okay, so to end on a funny haha note,
Uh-huh.
would you rather watch Amazon Cinderella or Snow White?
Oh, no.
Because they both have a really good female vocalist who they just ruin life for, and they are both the same level of bad story and questionable acting with large
You know what?
names.
Amazon Cinderella has much more talent in its roster,
It really does.
and therefore it's slightly more fun.
I also feel like Amazon Cinderella does not take itself too
Oh, it very
seriously.
clearly does not take itself seriously. So, by just a hair, I would watch Amazon Cinderella before I watch Snow White again. Like I said, Amazon Cinderella didn't make it into Cat's tier on the tier list.
No, I think it's.
I think it's in D.
I think I argued for D.
The only When we made the tier list, we said only Cats would be in Cat's tier. Fucking not anymore. Not anymore. That's it. We're done.
I wasn't prepared.
Sorry, I jumped the gun for you there.
It was D. Cinderella's in D,
Cinderella's in D.
along with most of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies. Actually,
I would watch every one of those 3 or 4 times before I watch this movie again.
all of the Fantastic Beasts movies are in D.
That's hilarious. They're so much better than that.
I think we just
They're
talked
dog shit, but they're better than that.
I think we just talked about this recently on another recording night. But the only things in our F tier currently, which is above Cats, is The Hangover Part 3,
Okay.
Viva Rock Vegas,
Yeah.
Jungle Cruise,
Ooh.
and Grease.
Ooh. All valid reasons to be an F, all different reasons to be an F.
Now I'm looking at some of our F tiers, and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I could watch Snow White again before I could watch Jungle Cruise.
I could watch Jungle Cruise again. The CG looks like it belongs.
It's just the story.
The story's ass, but it's not as backwards as this one.
At least this one is.
This one's confusing. This one has plot holes the size of planets.
It's the safety. I know Snow White's story. I still don't understand the fucking Jungle Cruise movie.
Story is very confusing.
But yeah. All right. So here's the thing. Like you heard us talk about at the beginning. I know I've been saying it for weeks. We got sick again. Or at least sickness was in the house. James may or may not be sick right now. But we bought Kindergarten. It is on our computer. We just did not get the time or chance to play it last week, but I really, really, really want to play it this week. We're gonna make a concerted effort to just kind of plow through it, as much as we can, as quickly as we can. So, I apologize. Nugget will be here, hopefully this week. Maybe not tomorrow because James has to cook dinner, and sometime no, because we're not recording. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
Who knows?
Until then, I hope everyone has a great start to your week and things go smoothly, and we will hopefully see you soon. Chat wants to know if, even though you have to deal with Tina Goldstein, if you would still watch Fantastic Beasts movies over Snow White.
Tina Goldstein has a better character arc than Snow White or the Evil Queen or Jonathan.
Ooh.
And Tina's character arc doesn't make any fucking sense. And she's can't say that word on YouTube. And she's an asshole to boot.